Hare Krishna to all the devotees who have gathered this morning to hear some Hare Katha during the Karthik Damodar month special series. So Krishna has arrived in a jail in Mathura in the middle of the night. And he is immediately transported to Gokul, where Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda have a baby girl who's none other than Yogamaya. So Vasudev picks up the girl child and comes back to Mathura and occupies the jail cell again. As soon as all the doors closed and everything was shut, the baby girl starts crying. Hearing the crying, it alerted all the guards. And what did they do? They immediately rushed to King Kamsa and gave him the much dreaded news. The 8th child is here. So for so many years, Kamsa was waiting for this child. So he was filled with anxiety, trepidation. His heart was thundering. He immediately got up from bed thinking, here is Kala, the supreme time factor, which has taken birth to kill me. So feeling extremely overwhelmed, Kamsa, who didn't have a grip on his senses, his hair scattered all over the place, immediately approaches the place where the child has been born. Now look at the condition of Mother Devaki. She had given up 6 children. The 7th one was transferred. And here's the 8th child, the girl child. And she pleads with her brother Kamsa. She tells him, please don't kill this girl child. She will be your daughter-in-law one day. You've already killed so many of my children. Each of them so beautiful, so bright, with so much potential. I'm begging you to please spare the life of my daughter. Why don't you give her to me as your gift? So you can imagine what Mother Devaki must be going through. Can she not even have one child? So she tells her brother, I am so poor because I don't have any children. And because I'm your younger sister, at least this time you allow me to keep the child as your gift to your younger sister. But then, as Devaki was embracing the infant to her chest, Kamsa kneels on the floor and simply snatches the child with the feet and feeling no compassion, no sense of relationship with his sister. He simply grabs the newborn child by its legs and tries to dash the child against the rock. But this child is not an ordinary child. Shukadev Goswami says that this child is Yogamaya Devi, the younger sister of Lord Vishnu. So she slips from Kamsa's hands and she rises into the sky as Devi, the goddess Durga, complete with 8 arms and weapons in each of those arms. So here Kamsa is ready to hear his second Akashvani, except it is not Akashvani. He can see Durga Devi. And she was decorated with flower garlands. She had a bow and trident, arrows, a shield, a sword, a disc, a club, a conch shell. And as the Devatas are worshipping her, she tells Kamsa, "Oh Kamsa, you're such a fool. What will be the use of you trying to kill me? The person that you're searching for, the Supreme Lord, who you've considered as your enemy from the very beginning, most certainly he will kill you. He's already taken birth somewhere else. Therefore, I am instructing you, do not unnecessarily kill any more children." So apparently Kamsa has recognized who this is. So after Durga Devi disappears, it's like suddenly Kamsa comes to his senses. He was wonderstruck to see this beautiful sight of Durga Devi. And out of nowhere, he feels so much remorse. And so he approaches his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva. He immediately releases them from their shackles. And in a very humble voice, which is very unbecoming of Kamsa, to be humble. So he starts pleading for their mercy. He says, "I know I've been very sinful. I have killed so many of your sons. I know I have been cruel. I know because of my envy, I gave up my own relations and my own friends." And he says, "For all the activities that I have committed, I'm not sure what my destiny is going to be after death. Actually, I'm not sure what my destiny is going to be even as I'm alive and breathing right now. But I'm sure Providence is around the corner." So it looks like Kamsa is beset with a little bit of fear about what is going to happen to him. So he begins to speak a little bit of Bhagavad Gita. He says, after all, the soul is eternal. What to do? It was their destiny to be killed. After all of us are under the control of the Supreme Lord. Nobody can live forever on this planet. Everything appears and disappears. Everything is temporary. But because of our attachment to bodies, we are affected by separation. So like this, he's either trying to console himself or console his sister, right? By speaking philosophy. So he says, "I'm begging for your forgiveness. Both of you are saintly people. So saintly people don't hold grudges. Saintly people are very compassionate, are very soft-hearted. And he says, please excuse all of the atrocities that I've committed. Saying this, Kamsa falls at the feet of Vasudeva and Devaki. His eyes were full of tears of regret. So it looks like Kamsa had undergone a transformation after seeing Goddess Durga. Suddenly there was so much love and affection. And what was Vasudeva and Devaki's reaction? Shukadev Goswami explains, both of them forgave Kamsa for what he had done. Such is the magnanimity of pure devotees. You may commit the most heinous of acts against them, but they don't hold it in their hearts against the other person who committed those acts. And they tell Kamsa, yes, all the philosophy you spoke, we agree with. We understand that nothing is permanent. And destiny has its play. So Kamsa was very relieved. To get the forgiveness of Devaki and Vasudeva. And so he returns to his palace. That night, Kamsa calls all his ministers and tells them the words spoken by Yogamaya, that the child had already appeared elsewhere. Now, you would think this would be the end of the story, but it's not. See, when you take association of people who are evil, who are corrupt, who are not compassionate, then pretty soon you will begin to acquire the same qualities that they have. So unfortunately for Kamsa, his servants, his ministers, after hearing that Kamsa had gotten this message loud and clear, that the child was elsewhere and would most certainly kill him, because he is hearing this statement from the voice of authority, Yogamaya. You would think they would keep quiet. But that's not what happened. Because all of them had acquired this quality of envy, they had all become the enemies of the Supreme Lord. And what do they tell Kamsa? My dear king, from today onwards, we will kill every child born in every village, town, and pasturing ground within the past 10 days or slightly more. So they gave themselves some room for doubt. Because we don't know how old this child is now. But they know the child is newborn. So 10 days or more, we'll go searching for every newborn child and destroy the child. You don't have to worry about anything. We are your servants. And this is what happens when people are in a position of leadership and they have a huge ego. The servants know they just have to glorify that person, and immediately their ego bloats again, which is exactly what the ministers and servants did. They glorify Kamsa, telling him, you're so powerful, even the devatas are afraid of you. They're always afraid when you will be ready to pick up a fight with them. So they cannot harm you. What can they do to you? And then, but they say there are some exceptions. So they've categorized all the devatas of being afraid of them except for 3 personalities. Lord Vishnu, what is he doing? He is sitting in the hearts of the hardcore yogis. He's not going to do anything. What about Lord Shiva? Oh, he's gone to the forest. He's nowhere to be seen. What about that other trinity, Lord Brahma? He's too busy with his tapas. But all the rest of the demigods, you don't have to be afraid of them. As a matter of fact, they are afraid of you. So this is what our plan is. All the demigods worship Lord Vishnu. And because religion thrives where there is dharma, where the Vedic scriptures are being followed, therefore, not only should we kill all the children, we should also kill all the brahmanas who are performing these various sacrifices and yajnas. Because if the yajnas stop, the purity will go. So everything will start degrading. See, this is the mindset of atheists. Now, we will destroy religion because religion creates problems. So destroy religion and everything will be fine. So this was their mindset, right? So having considered everything that his ministers said, Kamsa, instead of saying, don't do it, he said, fantastic plan. Please go ahead. Tatastu, you have my blessings. So hours ago, he was begging forgiveness from Devaki and Vasudeva. And hours later, he's changed his mind. He spoke philosophy, and now he's agreeing with counter-philosophy. So Kamsa gives permission to his servants to do the needful. So Sukadeva Goswami ends this particular chapter, which is chapter 4 of the 10th canto, by saying, when a man persecutes great souls, then all of his benedictions, like the longevity, his beauty, his fame, any other blessings he already had, even if he has accumulated so much punya that he can go to the heavenly planets, simply because of this persecution of devotees, he will destroy his own life. So on the one hand, you have despondency, anxiety, bereavement in Mathura. And then you have the exact opposite happening in Gokul. So Vasudeva and Devaki are experiencing bereavement. And Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda are ready to celebrate because they have a newborn son. Yeah. So everybody was overjoyed. So Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda were actually elderly couple. They were not young. They never had children. So the fact that after so many, many years that they finally had a child, the whole village and community was just rejoicing. it's like the atmosphere had become electric. Vedic hymns were being recited. And Nanda Maharaj wanted to celebrate the arrival of his child as per scriptures. So he arranged for the worship of Pitrus, he arranged for the worship of the Devatas. He gave a lot in charity to the Brahmanas. And the Brahmanas were invited to recite nice Vedic hymns. And Vrajapura, which is the name of the residence of Nanda Maharaj, was completely decorated with flowers, flags, mango leaves. Everything was spick and span. Every house was washed clean to welcome the arrival of baby Krishna. Even the cows and bulls and calves were decorated. Shukadeva Goswami describes that even the cows and calves had peacock feathers placed on their forehead. They were covered with cloth and golden ornaments. So everybody was dressed up for this event. Everybody had some present in their hand to go and give to Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. So everybody was happy for Mother Yashoda. So they approached the house of Nanda Maharaj to greet the couple, to see the baby, and to bless the baby. Everybody blessed little baby Krishna to say, may you become the king of Raja, and may you take care of the inhabitants very nicely. So they sprinkled the Lord with a mixture of turmeric and oil and water and offered their prayers for the well-being of the Lord. They do not know this is the Lord. They just know it's a little baby. So everybody was just filled with so much joy. And even Mother Rohini came to see the baby, the mother of Baladeva. She was also dressed very nicely. And she was receiving guests in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Yeah. So Vaikunta had arrived in Nanda Maharaj's house because the Lord was there. So the pastimes of Lord Krishna begins now. So great joy, great fortune has come upon Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. So after all the celebrations are over, Nanda Maharaj remembers he has to go pay taxes. So he goes to Mathura to pay the annual taxes to King Kamsa. Meanwhile, now remember, Vasudeva and Devaki are freed. They are no longer in jail. So when Vasudeva hears that Nanda Maharaj has come to Mathura to pay taxes, he wants to visit him. You've given up your child and handed them over to another couple. Certainly you would want to meet the father of that child now. So actually Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj are related to each other. They are like half brothers. So he goes to visit where Nanda Maharaj is staying. And Nanda Maharaj was equally overjoyed that Vasudeva had come. So they embrace each other and sit down and have a conversation. And Vasudeva asked, how's your baby doing? And how's my son Balaram doing? After all, Balaram has accepted you as his parents. Even though Rohini is there as his mother, he has accepted you and Mother Yashoda as his parents. So how is my son doing? You know, I'm so happy to hear after so many years you actually have a son. The fact that you have a son is a great sign of good fortune for you. It's also my good fortune that I'm actually getting to see you. I feel like my life, Vasudev tells Nanda Maharaj, I feel like I have taken birth again. Right? So like this, they are having a conversation and they are exchanging pleasantries. How are you? How are you? How is your family? Etc. And then Nanda Maharaj tells, Vasudev tells Nanda Maharaj, times are not good, And Nanda Maharaj says, yes, I heard that Kamsa killed so many of your children. I also heard that your daughter went to the heavenly planets. So what to do? This is destiny. Ultimately, destiny is controlling all of us. And as long as we know destiny is controlling all of us, there's nothing for us to be worried about. So Vasudev says, now that you've paid your taxes, although you have nominated other cowherd men to take care of the village, my advice is that you should return to Gokula very quickly, because I fear there are going to be disturbances. So Vasudev knows the heart of Kamsa. Even though he begged for forgiveness and they forgave him, he knows that Kamsa could not be trusted. That Kamsa will go in search of children who are born and will start with his atrocities again. So he implores Nanda Maharaj to return quickly to Gokula because he is anticipating some disturbances there. So imagine the shock of Nanda Maharaj hearing bad things are about to happen. So immediately after he heard that, Nanda Maharaj and all the other cowherd men who had accompanied him, they take permission from Vasudev and they go back to Gokul. In the meantime, Krishna is just a little baby. He's just a few days old. And while Nanda Maharaj was returning to Gokul, he was thinking, what kind of dangers can come? And immediately he thought of his son. He was thinking, I have to protect my son. And thinking that I have to protect of my son, he was thinking of Lord Narayana and praying to Lord Narayana, you please take care of my child because I am not there. So in the meantime, a beautiful young lady visits the village. She had this habit of killing other babies. As a matter of fact, she had killed a lot of other children in other towns and villages. That was her primary responsibility and her primary duty given to her by Kamsa. So she comes into Gokul. She's so beautiful. Even though she's a Rakshasi, she had disguised herself. And Shukadev Goswami says she's so powerful that she can even travel into outer space. She had so much power, mystic power. And because of her mystic power, she was able to convert herself to look something different than her real personality. And immediately everybody notices her because they had never seen someone so beautiful. They actually think this is Mother Lakshmi who has come. So here is Putana going house to house, searching for infants, because that was her business, to kill. So nobody stopped her when she enters the house of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. And she goes from room to room and comes to the room where the Lord is sleeping. And the minute she sees Krishna, she understands that this child is not ordinary. So she didn't feel this when she was killing other children, but she senses that this child is different. And the Lord knows who has come. So immediately the Lord closes his eyes, as if to say, yep, I have to start my killing activities. The fact that I have to start that with killing a woman, that too, which is not accepted in society at all. That one must not kill a woman, one must not kill a cow, one must not kill a brahmana, one must not kill a child, one must not kill elderly people. And here the Lord was getting ready to kill a woman. Therefore, he closes his eyes. So Putana very easily picks up the Lord from the cradle, and Shukadev Goswami writes a very beautiful statement. As she's taking the Lord onto her lap, she is inviting death, just like a person has picked up a snake and put it on his lap, thinking that snake to be a rope. So although Putana recognizes that this child is not an ordinary child, still she was bold enough to think, I can put this child on my lap and nothing will happen to me. So Mother Yashoda and Rohini are watching this. They are watching Putana pick up the child and put it on her lap, but they could not stop her, because they saw that she seemed to have motherly affection for Krishna. So the minute she begins to feed the Lord becomes very angry, because he knows she's come in the disguise of a mother, but her intent is not motherly at all. So the Lord, with a great deal of anger, just squeezes her chest with both his hands and sucks out the poison and her life. And Putana had never experienced such kind of pain. It's like every part of her body was just being shattered. And panicking, she says, please leave me, please leave me. And she tries to dislodge Krishna from her breast, but she's not able to, because the Lord had latched on very strong. So she was screaming, and suddenly she takes on her original form. She flies up into the air and she drops down on the ground like the Rakshasi that she was. And Shukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj, when Putana fell to the ground, it smashed all the trees for 12 miles. That's how gigantic her body was. Something extraordinary nobody had ever seen. And after she loses her life, Krishna is happily playing on her chest. And the gopis are running to see, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And when they see this tiny little baby on this huge giant-like body of a Rakshasi, they immediately climb up that body and pick up Krishna. And now the mother and all the mothers are panicked, but at the same time relieved, that Krishna was saved. So they begin to protect Krishna. So Shukadev Goswami says they recite what is called the Nyasa mantras. These Nyasa mantras I was reading, they're actually mantras recited by rishis who are very powerful. It's part of a tantric ritual where the rishi will place the mantra on different parts of your body for protection. This is called Nyasa mantra. The word Nyasa means to place or to touch. This is part of the tantric yoga tradition. So how is it that they knew these mantras? So the first thing they do is wash Krishna with cow urine. And then they sprinkle him with dust. Raj Raj. And for the first time, they apply tilak on the 12 parts of Lord Krishna. And they recite the names to protect his body. So they use cow dung to apply tilak on the Lord, beginning with the forehead, Keshavaya Namaha. In this way, they protected the child. Then they do Achaman. They purified their bodies and hands. They applied the Nyasa mantra on themselves. And then they applied the Nyasa mantra on the child, on baby Krishna. Right? So what are the mantras they recited? For example, may Aja protect your legs. May Achyuta protect your waist. May Keshava protect your heart. May Urukrama protect your face. May Gadadhari protect you from the back. Like this, they were reciting mantras. What were the gopis doing? They were protecting the Supreme Lord with these mantras, not knowing he was the Supreme Lord. So they're reciting the Lord's names to protect the Lord himself. They say, may Lord Haladara protect you from all sides. And they say, may Haladara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, protect you from all sides. So like this, may Hrishikesha protect your senses. May Narayana protect your life heirs. May Lord Yogeshwara protect your mind. May Prishni Garbha protect your intelligence. And whenever you're playing, may Govinda protect you. And when you're sleeping, may Madhava protect you. When you're walking, may Lord Vaikuntha protect you. So like this, they were reciting the Nyasa mantras as they were touching the different body parts of the Lord to protect him from evil. So meantime, Nanda Maharaj is entering Gokul. And he sees this giant body lying across the forest. And this body was not anymore in a single part. It was been chopped up into pieces by the Brajavasis. So, Nanda Maharaj is thinking, this is what Vasudeva was warning about. Did he not predict that some calamity is going to come? That's why you please go back to Gokul quickly. So while he was gone, this pastime happened and the Brajavasis very calmly chopped up the body of Putana into pieces with the help of axes. They covered them with wood and they were burning the body. And Shukadev Goswami explains that because Krishna had physically touched Putana, she was immediately freed from all material contamination. and she enters the spiritual world, even though she had come with the intention of harming the Lord. And therefore, when her body was being burnt, it was very fragrant, like the aguru incense, Shukadeva Goswami says. So, in this way, the Lord performed his first pastime. The first Rakshashi or Asura was killed, Putana. And Vasudeva was very, very relieved to find out that his child was safe. He understood that this demon had come to kill Krishna. So he takes Krishna into his lap as if Krishna had gotten a new birth. So Nanda Maharaj showers his affection on his newborn child. It is said that Krishna was only 6 days old when this pastime takes place. Just 6 days. So literally newborn. Yeah? And this particular chapter, chapter 6 of Canto 10, ends with a Falashruti. Shukadeva Goswami says, anybody who hears this pastime of Krishna killing Putana with a great deal of faith and devotion, and anyone who hears all of the Balya Leela pastimes of the Lord will go back to the spiritual world. They will develop deep attachment for Govinda, and they will then go back to the spiritual world. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.